Hey, you guys. The 1970s was the decade of disco, shag carpets, wood paneling, and TV that broke all the rules. It was a time when shows just didn't entertain, they shocked, they innovated, they changed everything. But some of the best stories about those groundbreaking TV shows are hidden in movies you've probably scrolled past. I'm talking about two absolute gems: Confessions of a Dangerous Mind and Cinema Verite. One's a wild ride about a game show king who claims he was a CIA hitman. The other is a raw, heartbreaking look at the family who accidentally birthed reality TV and got eaten alive for it. Both films are packed with A-list talent, 70s swagger, and tales so crazy you'll wonder what's real. So let's talk about these overlooked masterpieces that deserve your next movie night. My name is Natalie. This is my so-called Gen X life, and here are two movies you probably missed about groundbreaking 1970s TV shows.
Gentlemen, meet the Louds. The point is, we've gone to the moon and beyond, but we have yet to get past the American front door. No one has ever done this before. The handsome, hard-working, Nixon-supporting dad, the smart, sultry mom. She's a little too late for women's lib, but too young to be a discarded housewife. The 16-year-old daughter who is experiencing her first serious boyfriend, the little one who's in love with her horse. The two boys who think they're the next Rolling Stones. And the eldest, he's moved to Manhattan to make it. I have yet to meet him.
Wait until you meet Lance. He's the coolest of us all, but he moved to New York.
To meet Andy Warhol.
Well, we could shoot him in New York.
What is off limits?
Why, Bill? You have something to hide?
Cinema Verite is an HBO gem from 2011 that is all about an American family. The groundbreaking PBS series that put the Louds from Santa Barbara under a microscope in 1971, exposing their messy lives to 10 million viewers. Directed by Sherry Springer Berman and Robert Pulcini, Cinema Verite pulls back the curtain on how this TV experiment turned a family into America's first reality TV piñata and left them scarred. The movie kicks off in 1971 with the Loud family, Pat, Bill, and their 5 kids, living a seemingly perfect suburban life in Santa Barbara. Pat Loud, played by a radiant Diane Lane, is the heart of the story, a smart, stylish mom who's tired of playing the dutiful wife. Bill, brought to life by an amazing Tim Robbins, is her charming but philandering husband, a businessman with a wandering eye.
Darling, I saved this space just for you.
Here, use this.
What's that for?
Her phone number.
There you go again.
They agree to let filmmaker Craig Gilbert, played by James Gandolfini, film their lives for a radical new PBS documentary, An American Family. Why? Curiosity, maybe a dash of vanity, and a chance to show the world what a modern family looks like. Spoiler, it backfires spectacularly. The cameras roll for 7 months, capturing over 300 hours of footage. At first, it's mundane. Kids arguing over chores, Bill sipping cocktails. But Gilbert's not here for toothpaste and carpools. He wants drama, and he gets it. He nudges Pat to confront Bill's affairs, sparking a divorce that plays out on camera. Meanwhile, their oldest son, Lance Loud, played by Thomas Dekker in a breakout role, steals the spotlight as TV's first openly gay person, strutting in drag and spilling family secrets from the Chelsea Hotel in New York. The kids, from Moody Delilah to Quiet Kevin, get caught in the crossfire as their home becomes a pressure cooker. The film cuts between the Louds' unraveling lives and Gilbert's editing room, where he's cherry-picking the juiciest bits to hook viewers. When An American Family airs in 1973, it's a sensation. 10 million tune in, but the Louds are humiliated. Critics call them shallow, Bill's branded a lush, and Pat's painted as a doormat turned shrew. They are a family fractured. TV turned their private pain into public entertainment.
I can't begin to tell you how embarrassing it was. I mean, that's, nobody would ever believe that we were basically pretty private people, you know, to have wound up like that all over the screen. But The one thing, I suppose it's impossible to explain yourself.
Lane's Pat Loud is the soul of this film, a multi-layered onion, as she calls it. She's not a tiger mom or a feminist icon, just a woman caught between the old school party mom vibe and a world that's changing fast. Lane makes you feel her quiet strength and growing fury as the cameras expose her husband's betrayal. Robbins nails Bill Loud, a slick, boozy charmer who thinks he's untouchable until the footage shows him for what he is. Kind of a jerk who didn't see the piranhas coming. Gandolfini's Craig Gilbert is the puppet master, a filmmaker with a vision and zero chill. He's gruff, pushy, and morally murky, manipulating Pat to juice the drama, all while claiming it's for truth. Gandolfini actually tracked down the real Gilbert for research, and it shows. He's a bulldog who won't take no for an answer. Then there's Lance, played by Decker, with a mix of bravado and vulnerability. He's the wild card, loud, proud, and unapologetically himself, making TV history while his family crumbles. The other kids, Delilah, Kevin, Grant, and Michelle, round out the chaos, each reacting to the spotlight in their own way. Lane describes the Louds as the first domino falling in reality TV, a family who jumped into the fishbowl blind, not knowing the piranhas would eat them down to the bone. She loved the role of Pat Loud, but admitted in an interview that she felt awkward rehashing their trauma. She felt like she was raising the Titanic of these people's pain. And she also defended Bill, despite his flaws, noting how editing skewed him into a lush. For her, the Louds were virgins to the beast of TV scandal, and Cinema Verite shows how brutally they paid for it. An American Family wasn't just a show, it was a revolution. The Louds were the first American family to let cameras into their home, no script, no filter. Cinema Verite digs into how that innocence got weaponized. The movie's genius is showing both sides, the family's raw humanity and Gilbert's cynical cuts that turn 300 hours into 12 explosive ones. It's a 1970s time capsule, but it's timeless too, predicting the reality TV monster we live with today. Lance Loud coming out on air? That's history. Pat asking for a divorce on camera? That's guts. This was the first time a family got eaten alive on TV, and Cinema Verite doesn't let us forget it. Cinema Verite isn't just a movie. It's a reckoning. With a killer cast, it's a stylish, heartbreaking look at the 1970s show that started it all. The Louds didn't know they'd be gladiators in a TV arena, and this film makes you feel their shock, their pain, and their legacy. It's a must-watch for anyone obsessed with how reality TV went from toothpaste arguments to a global feeding frenzy.
My name is Charles Hirsch Barris. I've written pop songs. I've been a television producer. In addition, I have murdered 33 human beings.
The premise of Confessions of a Dangerous Mind sounds like a fever dream. The guy behind some of the most iconic TV shows of the late 60s and 70s secretly moonlights as a CIA assassin. This 2002 film dives headfirst into the bizarre life, or maybe the bizarre imagination, of Chuck Barris, the mastermind behind The Dating Game, The Newlywed Game, and The Gong Show. Directed by George Clooney in his first ever gig behind the camera, this movie blends dark comedy, spy thriller vibes, and a heavy dose of "did this really happen?" skepticism. The story kicks off in 1981 with Chuck Barris, played by a twitchy, brilliant Sam Rockwell, holed up in a grimy New York hotel room, looking like a man who's seen too much or made up too much. Barris is a TV legend, the guy who gave us The Dating Game, The Newlywed Game, and The Gong Show, where contestants did everything from singing off-key to beating rubber snakes while dressed as Vikings. But Chuck's got a wilder claim. He says he was a CIA hitman, racking up 33 kills while escorting dating game winners to cities like Helsinki or West Berlin. The film flashes back to Barris's early days, when he was a scrappy kid from Philly with big dreams, rejected by women, and fired from NBC. He claws his way into television, working with Dick Clark on American Bandstand, writing the hit song Palisades Park, and pitching The Dating Game, a show so simple it's genius. 3 bachelors, 1 bachelorette, and a whole lot of awkward flirting. But here's where it gets nuts. One night, after a bar fight, a mysterious CIA agent named Jim Bird, played by Clooney himself, recruits Chuck into the spy game. Why? Apparently, Chuck's got the perfect cover, a TV producer jetting off to exotic locales with clueless contestants. From there, it's a roller coaster of absurdity. Chuck's juggling the Gong Show, where he's the goofy host known as Chucky Baby, with assassinations in shadowy alleys. He meets Patricia Watson, a sultry operative played by Julia Roberts, who's all femme fatale mystique, handing out Nietzsche quotes and poison. Meanwhile, his long-suffering girlfriend Penny, brought to life by Drew Barrymore's hippie charm, sticks by him despite his lies and disappearing acts. The CIA stuff escalates throughout the film. Chuck's training in seedy motels, offing targets, even facing a mole hunt, until it all crashes down. Traumatized, he locks himself away and writes his unauthorized biography, confessing his double life. Here's the kicker. The movie never tells us what's real. Did Chuck really trade gongs for guns? It's a delicious what if that leaves you questioning everything. Sam Rockwell was an inspired casting choice because he is Chuck Barris in this film. Nervous, charming, and unhinged, like a guy who's one bad day from cracking. He nails the 1970s TV host vibe while hinting at a darker edge. Is he a killer or just a dreamer with a wild ego? Rockwell keeps us guessing. Clooney pops in as Jim Bird, the slick CIA handler with a mustache that screams, "Trust me, I'm shady." It's a small role, but Clooney's cool menace sets the tone. Barrymore's Penny is the heart of the film, free-spirited, loyal, and totally unaware of Chuck's supposed spy life. She's the grounded yin to his chaotic yang. And then there's Roberts as Patricia, all smoky eyes and cryptic lines. A walking spy movie cliche, but she owns it. Oh, and keep an eye out for Brad Pitt and Matt Damon as dating game contestants who lose to a schlubby nobody. It's a hilarious nod to the show's randomness. Plus, real-life American Bandstand, Dating Game, and Gong Show folks like Dick Clark, Jim Lang, and JP Morgan pop up in mockumentary-style interviews, adding a layer of maybe this isn't total fiction vibes. Was he a paranoid genius spinning a yarn, or did he really live this double life? The movie doesn't care. It's too busy reveling in the madness and absurdity to pick a side. This was Clooney's first time directing, and man does he swing for the fences. Fresh off ER and Ocean's 11, Clooney brings a slick, retro flair with 1970s zooms, jazzy cuts, and a neon-soaked aesthetic that screams variety show meets spy flick. His dad was a game show host, so Clooney knew the vibe. Cue cards, cheesy sets, the whole deal. He's clearly channeling pals like Steven Soderbergh and the Coen brothers, but there's a newbie energy. Sometimes it's too flashy, like he's flexing every trick he's got. Still, it's a bold debut that proves he's more than just a pretty face. Getting this film made was a mission worthy of the CIA. It started with Chuck's 1984 book Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, a cult hit no one knew what to do with. Columbia Pictures nabbed it in the late 1980s, but it flopped when execs bailed. Fast forward to 1997, producer Andrew Laser grabs the rights, hires Charlie Kaufman, the genius behind Being John Malkovich, to write the script, and suddenly it's a hot ticket. David Fincher, Brian De Palma, even Bryan Singer with Johnny Depp attached, all circle it. But it keeps stalling. Budgets balloon, stars drop out like Mike Myers, Ben Stiller, and Sean Penn, and studios balk. Enter Clooney. In 2001, with Singer tied up on X2, Clooney steps up, cuts the budget to $30 million, and sweet talks Miramax's Harvey Weinstein into funding it. He ropes in pals like Roberts and Barrymore for the cheap, Pitt and Damon do free cameos, and Rockwell finally lands the lead. Clooney's charm and hustle get it over the line, but it's a box office dud in 2002, grossing just $33 million. Critics loved it though, and it's since become a cult gem. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind is the ultimate 1970s TV movie. Wild, unpolished, and totally out there, just like The Gong Show itself. It's less about truth and more about the myth of Chuck Barris, a guy who turned trash TV into art and maybe dreamed himself into a spy thriller. By the way, if you want to know the truth, wait until the end of this video to hear from Barris himself. Clooney's debut captures the era's anything goes spirit with a directorial style that was ahead of the time. Rockwell absolutely steals the show while Kaufman's script keeps us off balance. So there you have it. Two hidden gems that bring the wild, unfiltered spirit of 1970s TV to life. These movies aren't just nostalgia trips, they're time capsules of an era when TV dared to get weird, messy, and real. Cinema Verite hits hard with the Loud family, the unsuspecting pioneers who traded their privacy for a TV revolution and paid the price. You can find it on HBO Max, and you can watch the actual episodes of An American Family on YouTube. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind gives us Chuck Barris, the Gong Show maestro spinning a tale of gongs and guns that's so out there, you can't look away. True or not, it's a blast. If you want to know more, check out Gong This Book, the uncensored history of television's wildest talent show, by game show historian and archivist Adam Nedeff. You can also find old episodes of The Gong Show on YouTube, and you can find the movie Confessions of a Dangerous Mind on Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus, or Hulu. Please drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've seen these movies, tell me I'm not alone in loving them. Okay, bye!
Tell me about this book, Chuck. The guy here sounds like you, has done all the shows you did, and then has another life, that of a CIA agent or operative.
Killer.
Yeah, killer. He was Sonny Six killer.
That's right. I had once applied for the CIA. I was accepted up to an FBI check was in progress, and then I got a job with ABC, which is where I really wanted to go. I had been out of work, and that thought always stuck in my head. I was never in the CIA, and I was never a killer, and all that. But I kept thinking, after these years went by, what if here's a guy who is crucified by the critics for entertaining the public, and meanwhile he's getting covert presidential citations for killing people, and this drives me or the character nuts. I just love that juxtaposition. You can.
But Chuck, Chuck, it could have happened, because after all, the dating game, the newlywed game, with all these trips you would send people on around the world, would be a great cover for an operative to get into a particular
Yes, it was.
area.
So we
it was
don't
a great
know.
cover.
Oh, he's turning the fine line here.
Chuck, you've always been a little weird, if I can say that with all great affection. Who knows?
Not
what is
weird,
the true story
creative.
here?
Well, that's the fun. Confessions is I don't think it's a book you would imagine you were going to read if you picked it up. I think you'll get. I have 20 years of stuff in there about all our shows, and it has a strange. It is a novel. It has a twist. It has a plot. But the people who work closely with me, Carruthers, my secretary, Loretta, all those people, they're the ones that don't know whether it's true. The strangers,
Now, has Hollywood picked up on this? Is this going to be a major film with James Caan and Goldie Hawn?
James Caan would be just right to play
I think it'd be
Chuck.
terrific.
Well,
I just cast your
Not too flattering, Chuck, but what the heck?
I like James Caan.
I don't think they're actually, in truth, people are reading the book with an eye toward a movie, but I think they're afraid that I want to play the part.
Well, you have
I'm
one
trying
movie
to tell them, forget about me.
It would be a great
You know
movie.
who told me about this? A few months ago, I had dinner with Dick Clark, and he laid out the whole plot. It held me spellbound across a restaurant table. I finally said, "Now, Dick, are you telling me this is true or it's not true?" Dick said, "I don't know." And he's one of your closest friends.
Very close, and it's true.